Yeah, so I would separate two things. There's I think inevitably as we talk about AI in the future, this kind of sci-fi sheen on on the whole thing, and that's in a way it's helpful as a metaphor, but also it can be distracting because it just kind of conjures everyone's mind into this kind of future dreamy mode. But I think there's some things that are real. One thing that's real is that every 3 months we make a model that's smarter than the model we made before, and indeed the models are slowly getting to where they're better than most humans at most things. Maybe at some point better than all humans than all things. The other thing I think is real is the model is not building itself in the sense that I have a specific copy of the model that's making a specific copy of the next model. We don't have our self-replicating nanobots or robots or whatever. But what absolutely is happening is that within Anthropic and elsewhere, we are using Claude to help build products on top of Claude and to help train the next Claude, to help serve Claude faster. 6 months ago, I made this prediction that in 6 months, 90% of code would be written by AI models. Some people think that prediction is wrong, but within Anthropic and within a number of companies that we work with, that is absolutely true. Now,
So you're saying that 90% of all code at Anthropic's being written by the model today?
On many teams, not uniformly everywhere.
Is that something that you've kind of provided, something auditable around that, or it's shown how that's happened?
Yeah, the teams play an editing and supervisory role, but Claude can both, you can say, write this feature, and Claude will do it, and then the human kind of looks over the code or asks for help from another model, another copy of Claude. The other thing is sometimes we have these long-running bugs. When we were training the most recently released Claude, it was the cluster was broken, there was this bug, engineers were spending a few days on it, and we just went to Claude and we said, I don't know, just kind of play around with the cluster and see if you can figure out what's wrong. And Claude found this just super obscure bug that the engineers had missed. So this was one area where it was Claude is like having a very talented teammate.
So if Claude is now writing 90% of all of the code in Anthropic, do you need less engineers? If 90% of all the code, when will it be 95% or 99%?